Alrighty, hello everyone. Finishing up the TV7 calibration according to the mil-spec TM11-6625-274-35. So the first video we talk about how you can do a check of the calibration without opening up the chassis, and so that's what we're still doing. This spec here is the military document. They give you the warning of serious dangerous voltages exist in this equipment, and don't take chances. Be careful when working on this equipment and the power supply circuits and the 115 volt AC line and so forth. Serious injury or death may result from contact with these points. Don't take a chance. Good advice. As Mr. TubeCAD had said, we need to have as many of the solder slingers out there going as we can. So you got this document. We'll be following chapter 3, and we've gone through bias voltage, how to check it, plate and screen voltage and short circuits and so forth. And we're doing simulated tube, which is right there. So with this method, you don't use a reference tube or anything. You just set up this circuit right here. I can put it there. So let's talk about that. So from the documents, it says this is a variable transformer. This is an isolation transformer and a voltmeter here. 10 k ohm resistor, can be 1 watt. There's only 5 milliamps going through this circuit here. But key is you have to have an isolation transformer. So if you Google isolation transformers, they'll tell you, and it has a separate primary from the secondary, and secondary doesn't touch anything, so it's completely isolated from this side, which goes back to ground. And since you have to have this tube tester on and it is connected to the ground, you have to have isolation, otherwise you will blow things up. You will either burn out your fuse, or you will burn out the tube tester and so forth. Don't think you can use this guy as the power source for doing that. Okay, so there's that. So let's see, you read this guy, it says set the range to B, so do that. Shunts and then bias, whatever, it doesn't matter. Your line adjust doesn't matter. It's only looking at this circuit here and going to pins 3 and 6, while this is set up for HS53460. Okay, so you do all that, and let me do a quickie look at this so you can see. Let's put this to volts. Where is this thing? AC volts. And I've got everything hooked up, and the variable transformer is on. As you can see, we're getting 50 volts there about. Crackers. Okay, so let's see. Oh, open. So I'll do a quick peruse over here. So there's my variable transformer there. Here's it's a line adjuster, a stand core, but it also is an isolation transformer because it's got a separate primary and secondary. And you see over here, we've got that 10 k ohm resistor to the green wire that loops around and goes there. And the other end goes back to the voltmeter, which also goes to the output there of the isolation transformer. Okay, so that's how it's all set up. And if you wanted to, you could make your own variable transformer and isolation transformer because there's only 5 milliamps of current going around this thing. So you just need a pot, like a 100k ohm pot, that can take 10 milliamps. Then you need a 1-to-1 transformer that has a separate primary and secondary, and you make sure the secondary, which is powering this stuff here, is completely isolated and not touching anything of that transformer. So, okay, so it's all set up. As I said, this line doesn't matter, shunt doesn't matter, and then you can see that. Then you press that button. You should get about 40, which we do, and that's on B. On C, you should get 20. Yeah, let's see, are we getting about there? Yeah. And then D is 40. Again, same. E is 40, and F, if you had it, I think is 40 also. And there's that test. So that one is done. And if I'm not wrong, let's see. Shunt control and this other guy, I'll talk about it real quick. I might have done that in the last video. So with shunt control, you basically put a good load. In this case, they want two 12k ohm resistors in parallel, but you put it across pin 6 and 3, and then you press the button 3 and see if the meter moves much. And you want like a 10 watt resistor for these two 12k in parallel, so it'd be 6k ohm, 10 watt. Set it up and you can check it. That's paragraph 27. 28 is range C. So with this, they have you using a tube. They call it a 6L6. It doesn't have to be a 6L6. It could be like a 6V6 or I use a 6BQ6 tube. And what they have you do is they have you do line adjust because you're actually testing a tube. You set it up for whichever tube you're doing, and then you turn the bias way up and you put it to range B, and with the bias way up you hit the button 3 and you try to get about 120. Well, you try to get 120 on range B. And then you leave everything the same and turn this to range C and you press it again, and then you should get 60 plus or minus 1/2 division. And that does it. Those are the basic tests for this document. And if you come out close or within spec of what they call out, because like right here they call out 60 scale division plus or minus 1/2. If you're pretty close to that in all the different paragraphs, it's in cow. So there you go. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I might have another video maybe later on something like this. Alrighty, take care.